Oh, okay.
You want me to take over now?
Sit down in the chair.
Can't see it when you look through the thing if the flash goes off or not.
Here, let me do it now and you go sit down. Jason, Kara, sit on the floor, okay, over here. Let the adults have the camera. Well, you can sit over here. Or on that little stool.
I made you a card.
Okay. I
Look at your card.
you little kids sit down on this.
Yes, Kara, you can sit over there.
You curly hair.
Why don't you sit over there?
Sit down on the floor. Jason. Now, up here. Jason. Okay, over there or over on along the wall here, so that Nana, somebody, Nana, you can sit there, or Papa, let's sit in here. Okay.
I bet Bernie knows all this.
No, I don't. I was sitting here thinking. I remember when you were born.
Oh, what did he do, add on?
He added two extra ones that Grandma doesn't know about. Of course, she can give the answers.
Oh.
Let's
Wave
see,
at the
she was
camera.
named after. Well, we know her name was Ethel.
Dad.
If she is named after somebody, it has to be Ethel.
Oh. Could be not necessarily Ethel. Could be.
It'd be a heck of a lot simpler. She just stand up there and read it all off to it.
She's going.
That's y'all. That's y'all.
There's one more card.
Get a close look. Stick your tongue.
Where are you feeling?
Even as you get older, you forget sometimes what you look at life.
So you hear?
Are you ready for me? Starts out, I was born at home in the Bethel area. Bethel.
Bethel.
We're wrong on that.
Well, I had Bell Ridge. Is that the same?
Oh, I put Ridge, some Ridge. It's always on a red.
I'll call her road or something.
That was Bethel.
Side of
Bethel, B-E-T-H-E-L, Bethel area of Trimble County. I was close to starting.
I got
I
Trimble
put
County.
Bethel Baptist
On
Church.
September the 20th, 1912.
Hey, I think we got.
I was named Ethel Kathleen Concord after my Aunt Ethel Powell, Daddy's sister. Well, I had Collar, after Collar, I couldn't think of her name. I knew it was your aunt. I was the second daughter born to Stella Bell, Colbert, and Fielding College. We attended, did you want me to ad-lib something in there too?
Yeah, if you want, feel free.
I had a sister, Helen was the oldest, and I had a brother, Norval. He was a baby, and I was in between. I went to school. We attended Mount Hermon Baptist Church, where I was baptized on Little Kentucky River.
Wait now, wait.
Yeah, really.
You were baptized in the Little Kentucky River?
Uh-huh. So it says baptized
Stick you in
on
it?
the
Well,
day.
what day, do you know?
I don't remember. And I was about 11 years old when I was born.
Well,
I mean,
wait.
Well, that was worth it.
In other words, a lot of people, parents
I know
She
it.
was prepared.
I know it, but I was born again Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was, so you were 11 years old, so that could have been,
You were,
1923 maybe.
And in those days, when you were baptized, you didn't have a baptistry. I was baptized in the and I had to wear at least two sleds. There's no hanging to you, no skirts or anything. You had to be careful when you come out of the water so nobody would ever see you ever have a bar.
bubble dress.
Yes.
Well, that was interesting.
We went to, our church was a small church, but it was a nice country church. We had, in those days, we had all day meetings whenever they would have, we had WMU then, and also we had young people's, we call it YPU, young people's youth. And then we would have a dinner on the ground at least once or twice a year, and they call that the missionary get together. I don't know if you all probably remember that. Now we had to stand, somebody had to stand in those days, you didn't want any flies to get on your table. Somebody had to stand and fan the flies off so we wouldn't get a fly. But we did have a nice church.
And then you have tent meetings too?
We would go to all the churches in the neighborhood. That was our recreation, more or less, instead of us going into Louisville or town like young people do today. Well, we would,
You'd go to church.
go to church.
Go to
We'd
the
start
tent
out the
meeting.
first meeting. The first one would be in the community. We would go to that one, and then we'd have to work all day before we could get to go, though. We'd have to do our chores before we'd go. And when I was growing up, we had to have certain chores to do. Each one of us had to, mine was to do all the running chores. I had to do, that was my job. Because that was, to them, it was a small job, but it was very important to me because I had to do the passing the chickens, I had to go after the paper, I had to do a lot of things, but then it didn't seem very small. I went to, it was called Miller's Branch.
Miller's Branch.
But that's the first school I went to. Then the next school I went to was called Bday. And that's when I graduated from
8th grade.
there, which was a one-room schoolhouse. And we had from the first grade to the 8th grade there. And sometimes we would, I had remember 3 teachers, and one of them that I liked so very much was Ork Hillis. Another one was David Beadham, and the other one was Lena Melvin.
Ork Hillis died this recently.
No, I didn't. I was thinking about her the other day when I was reading this over.
Let's see you spread this toe.
And
Wiggle that
when I
toe.
took my 8th grade exam, she was a very good teacher to me. In fact, she
Okay,
helped me more than any of
wiggle
my
that
teachers.
one.
Not only in that, but in social life too. More or less.
Can you wiggle it without touching?
I went to her home the next day in Trimble County, the school, Bedford High School, to take my exam. And I never had been away from home to stay that long. And I really enjoyed going there, and she was a big help to me.
Put it on so tight.
I went to school at, it said that I had to walk 4 miles each way to school. Sometimes it was so muddy in the wintertime because we had a lot of snow on the ground.
How many miles?
4 miles each way.
I got 6. That wasn't too bad. I had 2.
You put 10?
Or was Vale?
By the time you got there to school, it'd be time to come
Oh,
By mommy.
it was around Mount Herman, around Union
I
Grove.
don't know about the branch.
Well, you know where Union Grove wasn't too far from Union Grove.
No, the branch should, that's
Those just keep
another way.
moving back and
Yeah, well,
forth.
that was because we lived in a different area. We lived on the hill.
Probably refocusing.
And, we had to walk
Whenever
under
she
the hill
moves or
to
something.
school, and when I was
Change of light.
in the first grade.
Tell about the course. Getting in the snow.
More or less, we always had a lot of
That's why
snow in
whenever
those
she
days.
moves that paper
We
and
didn't have
stuff,
snow like we have
refocus.
now. We would begin to have snow in about November. And we would have it all winter, and it would be, the ground would get hard, and then in the spring, when it got warm again, the roads would get real bad. And there was about a mile of it that I had to walk. We had to walk through, and sometimes we couldn't hardly get through. More or less, we would have to, we had a car, we had a Model T, but we couldn't drive the Model T because it's too bad. So we had to ride the horse. We had a horse named, the horse name's not pretty, his name was Dick, old Dick. And then we had a mule, we called him Polly, her Polly. And that was our work horses. And we would ride the to and from work, or we would ride the sleigh or the wagon or whatever we was on when we were called in to go back to eat dinner or lunch, which was about 11:30 every day. And Mother would ring the bell for us to come to dinner. Of course, my daddy would always say, well, we'll have to make one more round on the tobacco before we can go back, to eat our dinner. So we had to make a round, which a round was going out the end and coming back, when you think about that. And we'd go to dinner and we'd take our nap. Everybody would have to take a nap before we'd go back to the field. And we would work then until it was time to milk. We had cows on the farm. And we had about 50 that was running loose. I think we milked about 25 cows. And we'd have to milk the cows and do our chores, and then we'd get ready and go to different types of meetings or revival, whatever you want to call it.
Didn't old Polly get in the snow once when you went to school? Didn't Paul come after you on the sled or the horse once?
Yes, he did, and the horse almost got in the mud so far, his feet went in so deep that he couldn't pull us out. See, there was 3 of us on the horse. It was myself, my brother, and Daddy. Daddy was first, and I was second, and Laura was behind me.
Oh, he held onto the tail, right?
Where was Danielle?
Well, she's already married.
She was married then.
Oh, okay.
Now I remember this.
She got married.
She married when she was young.
Did she?
She was fairly young. So she'd already married.
And I remember you telling me.
And down our lane, we had about 25 people that went to school. We all walked to school. And the first ones down the road was McDowell's. The second was Harmon's. The next was Clem's. The next was our house. The next was O'Neill's and Alexander's and Kendall's. And we'd all get together and walk to school. Sometimes we would, on our way back, we'd get up when they were ripe, we'd get in the pawpaw patch and December before we got home. Sometimes we was a little late, and Mother was always scared.
Hey, you don't get out from behind there.
Mandy's going to get her.
Oh.
That's about all that I would. Oh, I remember a lot of things that I don't need to remember, so I'm not going to tell you that. I'm just going to tell you the good things. When I went to high school, I stayed with my sister Helen in Bedford, so I could attend high school. Then I stayed with my Aunt Hodie. I don't know whether you spell that name or not.
H-U-L-D-A. Hold up, but everybody says Holdy.
And then H-U-L-D-A. My brother got in high school. We had a little small apartment upstairs, and we almost lived off of soup. I don't know how we survived, because unless sister brought us up some soup. But we loved soup, all of us. It was a blessing. When we would go home over the weekend, well, Mother would fix us something to bring back. And we would bring it back, and it didn't last for long, I don't think. But anyway, it lasted until we could eat soup. We eat our soup, and once in a while she'd give us a little extra money. And in those days, we didn't have a lot of candy, but when we did have it, that was my treat. Candy and grapes. Can you imagine having a treat like that? But we didn't have the recreation and things that we have in school today, so you young people that go to schools nowadays, it's a blessing because you have so many things. You don't have to walk, you don't have to...
Don't have to starve to death for the privilege to go.
But anyway, I did graduate in 1933. And,
a little bit, 1 year.
And my principal told me that I had some records there. In those days, we didn't have home ec, so I took agriculture. And so when I left I got honors on my records that I kept for agriculture. So there's supposed to be a record of them up there in high school. I don't know, they've moved out twice since I graduated.
I'm sure they're there somewhere.
But anyway, they're supposed to be in school. And I wasn't a perfect pupil. One year that I did fail algebra half a year. But I made it up, and I did graduate with the rest of my class, which was about 15. We started out about 25, and I think I graduated in 15. And I didn't have honors, but I was chosen to sing. Me and another girl, we sang a duet. I didn't know the song, I forgot it. And you know, I was
You mean you
able-
won't sing it for us today?
I can't remember the song now, I forgot it
Turn
almost.
the tape off, we can't hear
Remember, we
that.
used to sing Ivory Palaces with Mom.
Actually, and then one time, a friend of mine, she had bad influence on me.
Did what?
Blame it on the
bad
crowd.
One of those two. I tried to be a good girl, but anyway, one day she came to a bunch of us and she said, please let's play hooky today. Her name was the old Staples. And I think
Now you
about-
can tell it. She'll
There's
say
about 5 of us got ready and she said, let's just go over here and see some things we can swap. And I said, oh, I got so scared, but I was brave and I thought, I'm a sophomore now, I'm getting a big girl. So I went to Carrollton with
We'll edit that in the tape.
and the other two, I don't remember, I swiped 5 cents something and I forgot what it was. I didn't think I'd ever forget, but it's haunted me all these years. But anyway, she swiped quite a few things and I thought, well, if we get caught, I may wind in jail and then I won't get to go to school anymore. So mother would throw me out of school, I'm sure of that. But I always thought about me swiping something in Carrollton, Kentucky. And one of the stores over there, 5 and 10, and I can't remember the 5 and 10, but I got there and our principal was waiting for us in the office and he said, you all have played hooky today. And it always scared me and I think, well, here it goes, I won't get to go to school anymore. But he said, don't never do that again. And I remember those words, don't never do it again. So I didn't. And from that on, I was a good girl. As good as I could be.
Okay, you met Dad.
And I was married, Webb and I was married on June the 7th, 1933, and we first lived with his parents in Kansas.
Right, you changed it.
In Kansas.
What year did you meet him?
When did you meet him?
Yeah, when did you
I
meet
met him at my aunt's.
What year?
In Harrisburg, about 1928.
That's what I had down.
Uh-huh.
He said
Because
30.
it's about 2 years.
You kind of blacked out those 2
It might
years.
have been 30, because we graduated in 1933. It might have been.
Probably was 30.
Probably, you're right.
1930. You married 3 years later.
Uh-huh. And then I graduated and I married on June the 7th of that same year. And it was a bad experience. Well, I come over on a motorcycle.
Hell's Angel.
We borrowed Dad's car. And it was a car with a rumble seat. And on the way, it was so hot. It was the hottest day in June that we've ever had. It's been as hot, or maybe hotter than we had this year. And the tires, then we had patches on the tires. If you had a
And
black
had inner
tire.
tubes.
And it had inner tubes, and these melted all the patches off.
A
And
hot date.
so we had to get married, and then after we got to the courthouse, you could get your license in without the day you married. We got our license in Newcastle.
Uh-oh.
No, we didn't get our
You
license.
wouldn't lie.
They wanted to lie until I was old enough, 21, and I
But
was.
she liked a little bit being 21. We had to go back to Bedford to get her daddy to sign an affidavit that she could marry. Then we had flat tires going both ways. Finally wound up getting there. My stepfather to take us in his car.
And we went then to the parsonage and got married, and I was scared to
Well,
death.
where's
My
this
knees-
motorcycle come in?
Well, I rode the motorcycle behind Webb Suter to Bedford that morning.
Oh,
And
oh yeah, a white suit.
I took the coat off and held it, and it threw a tire up over the vest in the back. That covers up, you know, when you put the coat on.
Yeah.
And I had on my dress that I graduated in, which was a white dress, and it had what they call it, steam sheets all the way around it.
And it was steaming it up.
I was already steamed up, but anyway, they did hold. And it was white, and my mother, before I got married, she bought me a little hat. And I looked like a little chicken with the
Looked like a doll, I bet.
Yeah. And I weighed 98 pounds. I wasn't very big when I was growing up. But I made up for it after I got older. That's for sure.
Lori,
I'll never see it.
put your dress.
Anyway, I haven't said anything about Bernie. Bernie has been in my life for a long time.
For, let's see how many years.
How many? In fact, she was born in our house where we live. She was a little delicate baby. We used to say we'd been careful with her, we raised her, and here she is today.
Yes,
She looks
I
good.
know.
And I used to tell, when she first started to school, I took her to school. And on her way one morning, in the afternoon lesson, she got hit by a car coming back. And she's carrying her scar today that she got on that.
They were talking, she was talking with her friends, and I was behind her watching. I was minding my business.
Yeah, she got
Barney,
hit
go
by a
ahead,
car.
Barn, step the cap out and watch the water.
Yeah, it's cause you aimed for me too, you pushed me out. Maddest I ever got was I had on a pair of white pants one day and he pushed me over in one and it went all the way up and down my leg. Oh.
We set up housekeeping in Campbellsburg, Kentucky. And we bought our first house in Campbellsburg in 1948.
Well, wait now.
In
Yeah.
48.
And change.
Oh, I just
I
got,
guess
Oh, I
it's,
put 47. I was guessing.
well, I'm
48
guessing
is good.
too, because I really have forgotten the date. I could have looked on there. But it's close enough, I'm sure.
Well, I remember you got that 48 Chevy. I never will forget that car. It was so long, I thought when you got ready to turn in the driveway, it was never going to quit. It was such a long car.
Like on those cartoons, you know.
I thought it was you were going to get in with it. It
had a
was,
sign on the back saying watch for wide turn.
and I don't know when you bought that, 49, I think. And that was a 48 Chevy, and we'd already been living there probably at least a year. So I figured it's 47.
It would have been her then. I
Remember that 48 Chevy?
Was that the Chevy that I used to?
Don't take it
We
yet.
have we have three lovely children. We had three lovely children. Billy, Jerry, and Sue. I can't remember the birthdays right now. One's 1936,
Billy.
49, and 1942.
No, it would have
No.
been 49, been 39.
I mean
39.
39. Did I say 40?
Yeah,
39 I meant.
right.
Billy was 30,
Born on 36. Uh-huh.
36, I got that. And I got him in March, is that right?
Oh, April 8th.
Close.
And yeah.
And nevertheless,
Jerry's is,
Close is only good in horseshoes.
Jerry's is December the 8th.
December the 8th, and
Nuclear
36
weapons.
was November
The 30th.
Yeah.
5th.
Oh,
Mommy,
okay.
put that still on. Hold on right now, make it I know.
Is that it? We have been sad with children, and then we bought the farm that we now live
You eating
on,
again?
live in 1951.
Damn.
52? Yeah, it is 50, yeah, you're right, 52.
We're glad you came, Papa.
Well, the reason I know that is because we moved when I was 10.
Yes, you're
And
right.
I was born in 42,
I should
so
have
it
asked
had
Red
to
that
been,
myself.
yeah.
That was 52.
I think we're gonna go ahead while we're all in
At
here.
February.
No,
And we celebrated our 50th anniversary in 1983.
I had that right.
okay.
So that's about all I.
The last one that Steve added in.
remember,
part I got.
there's a lot of things that happened in there. I wouldn't tell a lot of things that's happened. Some of them have been good and some of them have been bad, so I can leave out all that.
That's right. And she doesn't have that on hers. Steve.
That's the gray area.
Oh, I see. Oh.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Yes.
we'll see if they fit later.
Everybody can see.
There's one other little bag over there. Oh, you
know
gonna try one? You may need a 6, there's 6 and a half.
You know this game we were on?
Oh, it wasn't a game, it was just something.
No, I think that's
You
what
won it.
I've heard of a while ago on that. That's our family, and we want you to put that in on your floor for your kitchen.
Oh, my goodness sakes.
Well, the reason why it looks like a whole lot, well, it is a lot. When money don't talk.
Yeah, she's supposed to use it to
I
get.
thought somebody robbed the bank.
Okay, here's ours. It's last. I'm going to add Miles and Heidi to it.
Oh, how sweet.
Yes.
Darling.
No, it is not quite dry.
Right.
We are fortunate that it is still
Oh,
intact after you rake the ground.
That is really nice. Thank you. That's what.
That's our fingerprints. Already showed it to you. Already showed
Miles,
Right here.
footprints or handprints?
If we can get his hand to open, we're going to use handprints. But if otherwise, we'll use his feet.
It's still slightly damp.
Oh,
Yeah,
how
I'd be
pretty.
damn
Some of the thick places are.
Can you see me?